So our speaker for this evening is Josh Robinson. He'll be presenting about the Evergleam Christmas tree that you may be familiar about. Just a little bit of bio on Josh, aside from being our chapter president. He is a lead project designer at KEPHART Architects, which is where those of us who are in person are right now. And he's known for his talks and activities relating to modern architecture and Western histories, including a keen interest in ghost towns across the city and the state of Colorado. So with that short bio, here's Josh with the Evergleam, the tree and the story.
Thank you, Adam. So, share our screen. Now, this is going to be a little bit different because we're going to show a few slides and then we're going to kill the share screen. And we'll be showing what's happening here in the room. So this is going to be a rather informal talk. And I trust that you guys can see me in the room. Did somebody hint at that? Okay, great. So the title of the talk is Evergleam, the Story and the Tree. You know, I think we all have, we're all very familiar with this aluminum Christmas tree. And I'm going to outline sort of how this is going to go this evening. We're going to talk about what the Evergleam is. What is it supposed to be doing? What is it doing? Sort of at a conceptual level. And maybe where it went right and where it went wrong. And then we're going to actually put one together, which I think would just be fun. So, we all know what a Christmas tree is, right? It's certainly not supposed to be like this thing. There's all of these ideas about why do we have a Christmas tree? First, as I walk around the room, you guys can still hear me fine, correct? On screen?
Yes.
I really struggle to stand in one place. That's why I hate Zoom. Anyways, we all have these ideas, and there's plenty of theories. Where does the Christmas tree come from? And, there's all this stuff about, well, it's left over from some pagan rituals that Christmas, just that we celebrated to transition as a point of celebration. We don't really know where the hell it's from. There's other folks that will swear that it's a honest representation of the Holy Trinity. It may be neither. We don't really know. We don't know for certain. Stories about it. Martin Luther and, hanging a tree upside down, all of this kind of stuff. Anyways, the Christmas tree becomes popular in the 19th century. And that's when we start actually using it. Cutting down a tree and bringing it into the house. Of course, it became very popular in the 20th century, and by the middle of the 20th century, we're questioning, rethinking what these things do. What kind of Christmas tree do? What is this thing supposed to be? It's essentially an icon, right? It really doesn't have the tree itself, in its formal sense, doesn't really have a lot to do with the actual holiday. It's kind of just a decoration for the holiday. This tree was born in 1958, and it made it to the market for 1959. One company brought this to us. But the story goes back a little bit further. World War II, all of these aluminum companies, you've got Alcoa, Reynolds. We've got all kinds of little ones, especially around World War II. You've still got a lot of people that don't have the whole market across the country. These companies are being contracted by the military to start to produce and make parts for war effort, just like everything else. You've got Cadillac plants churning out V8 engines for airplanes. Well, the small companies were about the same. What they started to do, beyond making small parts and components for airplanes was actually radar detection. Units that looked like this. Now, I'm not going to, because I don't really understand it. I don't really know how these things work. This may not be an accurate picture either. I found a lot of different radar scatter devices that these aluminum companies were making. The picture is pertinent though, in that you see how this little aluminum fin works? It's got the little thing, it's like a little refractor, right? What it's doing is radar signals are picking up where these bombs are going, and it's throwing it off course. I don't know how it works. These are probably pictures that are a little more recognizable to the aluminum Christmas tree that we'll start to get into. These are cardboard boxes, right? And in here are sort of these wire, tinsel covered sticks, really, that would go inside of these devices. Pretty long here. Looks rather similar to what happens with our aluminum Christmas tree barbs from our first slide. Right? Looks very similar. The story starts in 1957. There's a company out of Manitowoc, Wisconsin, that's looking to expand their post-war productions. And at this point, they're making housewares, pots and pans, aluminum things, little toys. They're starting to move into that market. There's a major toy show in Chicago every year. And they're talking executives, these salesmen and stuff. They send business trips to go things, right? And the fellow goes to Chicago and happens to go by a toy shop on the street. And in the front window is this little metal tree. It doesn't have any barbs on it, doesn't have anything. And he saw how it was made, and he thought, my God, there's a market for this. I could make this, and we have the product that we could make it with. These. The first prototypes were made with war surplus radar scatter materials. The patent looked like this. Prior to it being marketed, of course, they had to patent it. So they're essentially, the trees are rather simple, right? They're really just aluminum foil with a bunch of slits and folds in it, so they're pretty stiff on a wire. The wire, of course, goes into a 1-inch dowel, and the holes are drilled at different angles. The sticks are all the same, but the holes are drilled at different angles to create the triangle shape that is supposed to be a tree, or at least we call it a tree. That's the broomsticks. The first one came out in 1959, like I said. Now, the idea was these things have got to be affordable. Got to be something that you could charge an arm and a leg for. If you really wanted to, they have to be affordable. They started to reuse parts that they had from other components. These little stands were not designed for Christmas trees. They were part of some other thing that the company was already making. Reduced costs, right? So it's actually a pretty nice stand that you would get with these, long lasting, right? It's probably a little more hardy than the actual tree is itself, little rubber feet and things like that. But it's because it was already in production and its cost was being deferred by another item in the line. Like I say, the cost had to be brought down, right? This is this modern idea of best for the most choice, it's for the masses. The thought was that if you saw this box and one of these wonderful trees set up in a department store, that you could pick this thing up. It's basically a shoebox size, put it underneath your arm. It's a $5 bill you lay down on the table and you're out the door. An artificial Christmas tree in the 50s was significantly more expensive in new technology. These were different, cheap. Inside that shoebox, this is what you get. A series of these little barbs, right? The little metal sticks. You've got your broomsticks here that fit together with a little metal peg. And by the way, these sticks are actually foiled paper. You'd think that they would have just painted the sticks, but it must have made more sense to actually foil them. And the foil is just held on the Scotch tape. They came in 4 different sizes. This is a photograph of 3 of them. The 4th one you'll probably never see. The majority of them that were sold were 2 foot and 4 foot. The one on the far right is a 6 foot, and it also came in a 7 foot. Now I got to get my figures out here, so I don't quote anything wrong. The 2 footer on our far left, the cost to produce this was $2.50 in 1959. The retail cost was $5. The 4 footer, which my grandparents had, was $4.50 cost, $10 retail. 6 foot is $9 cost, $20 retail. The 7 foot was $11.50, $25. So basically, if we're looking at 50's money, you're adding a 0 onto this. So the entry level tree you can get for $50. Something that somebody would have. Well, it's a heavy, sort of dose of marketing in this. Now, of course, the other part of this tree, because it is metal, you don't hang lights on it. Now, you can, I don't know, I've tried to find this again online because I know that I had watched it and I had a series of notes, and that's actually what this talk is about. These prices came from the designers, and there was an interview done probably 10 years ago, and the fellow's 90 years old at that time. You can't find it online anymore. And he gave detailed account of how the story went down, the pricing, and what his general idea was to this. You sort of look at these trees and you think, boy, that's kind of neat. Okay, it's interesting. But he sort of really believed in kind of a bigger idea to this, like it was a legitimate piece of design. He thought of these not as artificial Christmas trees, but as Christmas decorations. And when you think of them that way, they're not a fake tree. He didn't think of this as an artificial tree. It was a Christmas decoration. You're not intended to decorate the tree other than to let it do what it does best, broadcast light, just like it did during the war, except it was broadcasting different sources, right? And refracting them and creating, scatters. It can do the same thing here with light. That's how this decoration was supposed to work. You were not supposed to decorate them. And that was one point that he felt very strongly on. He felt like it kind of didn't work because the general public, okay, I got this neat thing. I'm going to hang all my bulbs on it from my traditional tree. Now, the apparatus that was used to light this, there were several different color wheels that were designed by Evergleam. The earliest ones were pretty basic, like this, and really kind of undesigned. Essentially, an electric motor with a light bulb here in this cast aluminum base with a plastic wheel on the front that would turn. And as the light shone through the wheel, it changed the different colors and, of course, changed the color of the tree. So the tree was supposed to be raw, bare aluminum. Of course, they did a lot of different versions, and some that were significantly more deluxe. My God, the equivalent of $500 for one of these neat decorations. You kind of don't want that goofy looking thing sitting on your floor. So they devised all sorts of neat products This actually, I have a little bit of information on some of these. Evergleam would actually partner with other companies. This is not an aluminum product, that's a steel shell. They would partner with other companies to get these things made. And this is actually a standard pendant light with one of their motorized pieces inside of it. All kinds. Of course, 1959, this hits the market and explodes. 60, 61. It's going nuts. Every year, because they were affordable and they were easier than cutting down a wood tree. It was way easier. The mess wasn't there. You've got this wonderful modern home deal with this thing in here, right? You've got something that you can reuse. It's a modern term. It's sustainable, right? Or a contemporary term. It's sustainable. They started to come out with different anodized colors, which of course they were doing on all their regular products. Even green ones. It's kind of blue-green. It starts to kind of get away from the idea, though, doesn't it? Of course, after that first year, and they found that there was a market for these artificial trees, they created one, right? This didn't exist. There was a vacuum for this stuff before. And everybody jumped on the bandwagon. Here we've got Reynolds, right? Reynolds wrap. And look at all their other wares that they're selling here. And then you could buy a Christmas tree. So buy your sweetheart a new toaster and look at this lovely tree. Everybody did it. They exploded. All of these small little aluminum companies selling at these toy fairs, selling at these toy shows throughout the year. And they would create their own spin on this. So look at this little picture, this drawing here on the side. You can see that, okay, yeah, we've got the little barbs. Everybody can figure out how to make that. And then we're going to try to do something different that sets us aside. That's the pom-pom, the sparkler, aluminum Christmas tree. The listening holiday greetings. Now look, some of these other Alcoa aluminum here. Look at this picture. You start to see bulbs on these. Then they come up with the concept. They're making an aluminum Christmas tree. Not making this sort of modern idea. I love that this just has some aluminum foil wrapped around it.
And the trees, the other point of the trees was that they had house fires for Christmas trees and lights.
That's a very good point. They were also targeted as being safer. And they certainly were. I mean, think back to those 50s light bulbs on a dry tree. A screw-in light bulb. Don't go near the tree, it'll burn you. Yeah. Even more decorations happening here. And then you start to get, all these different colors. You've got the aluminum being sprayed with it's the same darn tree, but we're kind of getting away from things here. Look at all these incredible color wheels, though. Look, this one plays music. We got to get that one. Look how neat that is. This one probably spins the tree around. There's a few of those. The best musical stand, best musical wheel, revolving color ball. Good. This one's just good. That's the good revolving stand. It's just okay. It's not the best. It's just good. And look, you could even get the Santa costume that the guy's wearing. Red cotton flannel, white trim, $7.49. Anyways, these other companies are really taking advantage of it. And a lot of the times when you'll find these aluminum trees, they'll be from these companies. And it's very hard to distinguish them because they're all, it's like, how easy is it to knock off, something that's so simple? You really hardly can keep a patent on it. You change the base and now all of a sudden it's completely different.
The only comment I'll add between the two trees is I have a pom-pom and an evergreen. My pom-pom is much less shiny than the evergreen. So like the quality of the needles is very different. So my pom-pom is quite a bit duller. The evergreen had this unreal shine to it. So I've had 3 aluminum trees. And like the cheapest one had the least shine, the pom-pom has middle shine, and then the Evergleam has hands down the brightest, like most opalescent shine.
That's neat. I mean, when Montgomery Ward starts to get in on the action and selling their own aluminum ones, you know that this is kind of played out, right? And look, $9.99 for a 6 foot tall. But my God, when you look at these things, you know, brand new. Look how well that must have shown in these storerooms, these dark windows with these trees lit up.
Changing colors, spinning for hours.
It's incredible. But this is more of the reality of the situation, right? That's the beautiful thing that we would really like to see. You know, the lady here with the beautiful tree, you know, it's very perfect. But who actually bought these were these people. Mom and Dad didn't really understand what the idea was, and you know, they tinseled the tinsel tree. We can see that it is a metal tree. It's got the pipe up in there, or the broomstick up in the middle. They're kind of missing the point, right? You know, this lady, the same thing. I don't know what this is. That actually looks like it's a package sitting on one of the branches. Just not what they were designed for. You know, look at her traditional house here. She bought this because it was cheap and it was easy. But it's also cheap and easy to kind of throw away. I love this photo. Look at her hair matches the thing here. And of course, you find all of these photographs with sexy mom in the morning before the kids went out in front of the tree. You know, things like this. You know, I'm sure she can play this organ beautifully. But the thing is, you know, when mom thinks this tree's really cool, maybe you don't as much. These trees became rather faddish, and when you've got them in this sort of environment, you sort of lose. You certainly lose the purity of the idea. And somebody doesn't quite understand it, it kind of can be kitsch. And look at the color wheel up here hanging from the ceiling.
It's pretty cute.
I love mom looks so 60s modern, right? And the daughter. These were the real people that bought those trees, right? Look at mom here. I love the little kid in the cowboy outfit. But did they really want or need this? You know, that's the traditional tree, right? That's the tree that we see right now. It's the tree that we've always seen. That tree could be 100 years old. And that's the environment that it's in. It's just a living room. It's just a house, you know. Big sheet out here on the floor, a little block of wood to keep the tree level. Because Dad didn't screw the screws in straight. And when you look at the two things, you know, there certainly is a timeless quality to this. It's a Christmas tree. It's a real thing. It's a thing we've been doing for thousands of years. But that thing's completely different. And it's supposed to be different. It's doing something. It's a piece of modern architecture, right? There's an idea to this. And it's a hell of a lot more than just a kitschy Christmas tree. This has an idea. This is a piece of design. Somebody had a thought to this. And it has a wonderful story, and one that you don't ever hear about. I really, honest to God, believe this is the truly modern Christmas tree. There's certainly plenty of other ones out in the market right now. God, are they expensive? They're beautiful. But I think that as somebody in design, I'm far more attracted to this because it has an idea. This was something that was targeted to a public that was attainable. It was for everybody. It was for that lady. What's the tinsel on it? And, you know, all of this kind of stuff. It was still for them. They could do anything if they wanted to it. There's an elegance to that, a real timelessness. So I think what we'll do next, quickly, is we're going to put one together. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen now, and we're going to see how this actually works. And put it on gallery.
Can I tell you how I just had an aha moment in the one ad where they put the branches on with these sleeves still on them on the tree in that ad? Yeah, I take my sleeves off and then put it on the tree.
Yes.
I could have probably.
I don't, you know what? Let's try it. So what's interesting about this, you guys, you can help me, or help us, is when we explore this, this is that box, right? This is the box that the guy's supposed to put underneath his arm. There it is.
Camera over there.
Did you guys see me?
Do you want us to
Yeah,
go
let's
closer that way?
place the camera.
I can't see any of you.
Oh, you can't see us, Mr. Gas?
You're too small. I can see. I
Boy.
can.
Oh,
I
that's
can
great.
see you, Josh. I can't see the others.
We can
Well-
go closer. You can make it full screen too, I think, Alan.
I
So-
don't think so.
What we get is our box here, right?
Okay. I just did.
If we look at the box, right, we've got the Evergleam stainless aluminum Christmas tree. You can imagine these arranged. But when you even look at the box design, it's so over the top and in your damn face. It's advertised on every side, right? So no matter what way it's shown, it's going to be the whole thing. Each branch is patented protective slate. It's a piece of paper, of course. Each branch ready to insert into tree trunk in case you thought you had to make it yourself. And you set up tree in minutes. Store away the spark. Non-inflammable, the safety tree. And this was the original. This is the inventor, the Evergleam. It's the aluminum specialty company. Aluminum for lasting beauty. And this is the 4-footer. Is the bigger one in a bigger box?
Mm-hmm. So my comes in the box about this big and it's about this wide, but it's the narrowest width. It's only about this. So I should have just brought the box. I haven't put it up because I'm so terrified of puppy destroying it.
So my base, which is their thing, aluminum specialty, Manitowoc, Wisconsin.
Yours
But
is missing the lower
missing the
footage.
leg.
Mine still has the lower.
So we put the thing in, and then here's our wonderful wood sticks
Mm-hmm.
with the legitimately taped on piece of aluminum foil here. Great. So sticks. Mine's kind of.
I was
60 years old. So
Yeah,
it's gonna
that's
be
what mine looks like.
And of course, you know, she's got a little. So when I put mine together, I even them out and make an S shape. So I'll do that. And then since we have great help
Does yours have a date stamp on the box?
tonight, there probably is. I never thought.
Let's see. Mine has a date stamp.
So we set the wood thing in there, right? It's kind of look and make sure it's straight.
We're 98.
So $4.98. This one should have sold for $5.
$5. So so right on par.
So let's.
I don't think yours says, mine has September 20th, 1961 as the date stamp on mine.
So now we get a box of barbs. And on the directions on the back, in case you can't figure this out, right? My dad always told me that they didn't have directions in the 50s. So That's not true. It says remove branches from tubes by the exposed rod ends, but that you're supposed to start at top and insert branches into holes, trunk working downwards. That doesn't work as well. So all of these barbs are exactly the same. And each one is a little bit, this is going to be the shape as we go up. So you can help me. Pull these out. These are 60 years old, so they're still.
Be gentle.
So be gentle. Then you can stick it in to the hole. Stick them in from the bottom and work our way up. Just slowly builds.
How many branches does this one have? 50. You wanna know what's funny? Is mine has 55, and it's a bigger, pretty.
Well, I think there was even something with the.
You could do the little trees too with less branches. So the more branches they have, the more value they have to them.
See, they're kind of hard to use, right? So you gotta feel like.
Dang.
And I gotta think that when they made these, if they thought that we'd be here 60 years later, they might not use scotch tape to hold the aluminum
I know.
onto
that's
the
funny
wire.
part.
It's like, my God.
Low tech.
Low tech.
Well, maybe that's the way they come to get into radar things.
Right?
That's the last one. That's right. It's black.
Yeah, a few of mine are coming undone. So they come. I put those kind of. I try and make them in the middle.
I think I have one nasty one in here. That somebody clipped off the little pom pom on the end. I don't know what they used it
They could use it as a tree topper and then put a tree topper on
for. That's exactly what they used it for.
it. I have one of you one and I used it for the tree topper. I just assume that's what. Because if you put a tree topper on, that's what you would have done. Now I don't always put a tree topper on because I learned that it's
Not supposed to.
yeah.
I
also may or may not have. I may or may not have put light bulbs on the first time. I did find out last year that they made low voltage bulbs that were so low in voltage that they were safe to put on the trees.
Wow.
Well, no, these are vintage bulbs.
Oh.
They made low voltage vintage bulbs to put on the tree.
I do remember those big lights on there. They would be so hot you couldn't touch them.
I
Doesn't seem like a
my
good
mom
idea.
had some vintage bubble lights, and those things become atomically hot.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they're filled with like mercury. I don't know.
They start to be pretty tight.
There's two over there. Much faster than those.
They're all the same length.
They're all
Yes.
exactly the same length.
The way they make the tree shape then is they change the angle of the hole.
Yeah. So the hole's just getting steeper and steeper.
And then like on my tree, the top holes get further spread apart so that it goes up that way too.
Huh.
On the taller trees. How many branches we have left?
So in that way, though, they kind of made it foolproof. Like you couldn't screw up.
So you can't screw up putting this.
Maybe one
Three
over
together.
there. No.
There's a few holes, yeah, that we.
Oh, I missed one. I didn't do a good job.
We are trying to do it perfect. I actually remember the first time I put one of these together and it was very soothing, but I also was very confused when I opened the box. Because mine does not have instructions. So unless it was on the flap that got ripped out. Are we missing? There's 2 holes, but there's no. It should be all in the top too.
Yes, it should be.
Should we not put the right way up? Sure.
No, you got one.
Is there? I
Yeah.
can't see it. Is there another hole up there that we missed? There's one more branch.
Maybe it'll make the branch for the people who.
Oh, here's your cut off pom-pom, so that must
That's
be
the
the
ugly
topper.
one. I think he goes near the bottom.
I bet you it's the tree topper. There's not normally an extra. Here, let's. Oh, it's right here. Blend it in the middle. It's fine. I bet you that's what that was for, was a tree topper.
Yep, somebody snipped her off. And that's it.
But what decorates it is this.
A light.
Light.
Big light.
Yours is more fun than mine.
So is this light by Evergleam or is this a different brand?
So this is a different brand of light. So it's
Rainbow light.
rainbow light.
I think might have been the same one that did the light brights.
Oh, it was, wasn't it?
I think it's the light brights. I think it's the same company if I remember. That logo was very akin to my childhood.
So. This is what we'll do. So. All right,
We have to turn the lights down,
and
right?
we got to turn the lights down.
These. Ready.
It is ready.
We're Rockefeller Center here.
All right, Scott. Look at that. Suddenly, it's 1960. And it works. I mean,
All you need is Bing Crosby's White Christmas.
Looks nice.
pretty cool.
Rob,
Thank you.
it was much easier than going out of the woods.
Cutting one down. I think it's poetic. I think the thing has a good idea. You know, and when you think about it, the way that
Josh, you're
it's
blocking
designed-
the
Oh,
wonderful
sorry.
camera view.
when you think about it, is the product that it was designed to be, what their thinking was. It's kind of serious, right?
That's pretty cool.
Now you just need to put a train around it.
That's right. I'll tell you what's really neat is that this thing. So I have a really low wattage bulb in here, so it doesn't get really hot. This thing had a heck of a projector bulb in it, and boy, it almost melted the floor that it was sitting on. So I had to get rid of it. But I gotta imagine it may have actually done a better job when it was new and had the
Mine had
150 watt.
mine is one that was the cheaper version of that has the plastic, like I see, like film screen, like where it goes around, but then I think the plastic is almost like what you use over lights on like a stage. And it would get fire hazard hot. And so Nick told me that I had to put an LED bulb in it or he wouldn't let me turn it off. Because he told me that he was ready to burn himself with the jet. So
Oh, it's just like a cube. It just spins.
It's pretty neat, huh?
Spectacular.
And it even works pretty good in the, when the lights are on a little bit in the room, you can still see the thing still changes color.
I mean, the camera just looks like normal lighting.
And thank God it's not the musical one. I can't imagine the musical one playing the same song over
Not bad.
and
Off
over
switch on music.
and over.
And everybody remembers these, You had an aunt that had one, kind of a weird aunt that was, lived in a condo or something.
Recycled war surplus.
I mean, tell me that's not like a Charles right?
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
What are you guys doing for Christmas?
Don't really work in the house. What are you doing for Christmas? You're gonna get a Christmas break here pretty soon.
Yeah, one more week of school.
That's a fitting holiday presentation.
I thought so.
Yeah, thank you, Josh.
Well,
I definitely learned something today.
Yeah, me too.
that's
My son's got my old American flyer. He's doing a lot of research on Gilbert. And Gilbert developed fine-tuned instrument things during the war, too. And after the war, they went into production on finely tuned toys like locomotives, erector sets, and so on and so on. So it's interesting, the technologies that came out of the war. They were used on toys post-war, or aluminum Christmas trees, or whatever the case might be.
aluminum was pretty new. I mean, it was always around.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
having it, as a
Okay,
product after the war, that was pretty new.
Well, it's a fitting lead into the tour of the chapel. Right? At the
Yes.
Air Force
they now can match so well.
Even after, I guess, thinking about why did they wrap the paper on the stick rather than just paint it, is the paper would be so much more reflective. Aluminum
Yep.
foil.
This
Yeah, but it
Scotch tape,
definitely feels
Scotch tape kills me.
And there's all kinds of these tree festivals up there in the hometown. The company's not a business, almost that's not a business, but or at least they don't make.
I think they did a display last year or the year before.
Yeah.
I saw a YouTube video that was the story of the tree, and I'm trying to remember where I posted it.
Well, I'll tell you what's interesting is that nobody tells that story about the idea. And it's kind of lost.
Yeah,
It's not taken as seriously as a holiday decoration could be, right?
Yeah. Is this going to remain here as a KEPHART decoration through the holidays, or is it?
I think it actually probably will. It'll go downstairs, but yeah, I think it actually will. Especially because this thing doesn't get as hot as it used to.
Probably after like a 2 days.
Really long time.
Probably don't want to leave it on all night.
That little electric motor isn't meant to run forever inside. Although I'll tell you, this color ball, those are actually glass colors.
Camera
I haven't
doesn't
seen any of those in person somewhere.
Yeah, they actually have little. It's basically a lighthouse, right? And some of these things, when you get them into a small room, like an actual living room size space, it does a lot more than just light up the tree. It'll light up the whole room. So it's neat. It's kind of mesmerizing, right? As a little kid, looking at that, seeing all the sparkles, that's way more neat. And it's mechanical, right? You get the little thing. Get away from that thing. So, well, anyways, guys, I'll formally adjourn the meeting, but you're welcome to stay and we can chat or whatever.